Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. Today I am going to go over how I use lights and lighting in the images, and that means we're getting close to the end here of this particular series with this particular image. I've got it all booted up here. You can see that I am at step 5.1. And after we did the colorization and changed everything in the last video, I noticed up here in the clouds that I was not liking the way a certain part of it was looking. So I went back into Object Clone and moved some other clouds into that area to make it a little bit better looking. So that's why it's a 5.1. I did put it in CMYK so that I can see it clearly in terms of how the print is going to look. Again, I'll harp on this over and over and over again. If you're going to be selling print on demand, or if you're going to be selling custom downloadable images that people can print on their own, the least you can do is look at them in CMYK on the RGB to CMYK.org website and at least see what the difference is, because it's going to save you a lot of headaches. When people order them and print, the print comes out completely different than the image because your image was super bright, super out there, had neons in it and all this other stuff, and it really comes out flat when it comes to those kind of colors. Your customers aren't going to be happy. So why not take the step and look at it in CMYK and see what you're dealing with? And it's particularly important after we do the lighting, because once we do the lighting may brighten something so much that in CMYK it will wash it out. It'll make it a flat color. And we may have to come back in and do a different lighting scheme. But here we are in PhotoDirector365. I'll get off my pedestal and I'll go through this with you guys. I would like to say, if you like this kind of content, drop a comment down below, and I'll keep doing them. But I'll be honest with you guys. The reality is I've enjoyed doing this, so I will probably continue to do this, and hopefully I'll discover some new tips and tricks and put them out in separate videos while I play around here in Photo Director, because I do a lot of different things in here and I'm still learning. And that's one of the things that I find has been key to my success in life, is that I am a constant learner. Like if I want to accomplish something, I go out there and I dig around and I learn it. So let's go today. We are in the effects section. Once again, still in guided, because like I said, there's a lot of things in here that just make it simpler, more user friendly. And sometimes I find that when I'm in the guided, if I do the same type of thing in the design area, the more expert level of PhotoDirector 365, it doesn't appear the same way. I mean, it may be my own mind and my own eyeballs and stuff like that. It just doesn't appear to do what I want it to do. And there's a lot of things here in the effects. There is a filter section, where if you want to apply a filter to it, you can apply a filter to it. There are literally hundreds of filters depending on what you're doing. Like I said, this is a well-rounded program that has a great interface, and this is not a paid advertisement. This is just the software that I found that I enjoy using because it is so simple to use for a 50-something grandpa. You know, I raised 6 kids and I've got 8 grandchildren, so I have to know what's going on. And in here, you've got color. This is a little bit different. Color replace is something that I'm really interested in trying at some point in time, but I'm not using it right now. So if I play around with the color splash and the color replace, I will definitely make a video on it. Um, Glitch is another thing that, I'm doing static images here. I want the image to pop, so I'm really not doing the glitch, although this does have a brush setting, so you could probably glitch certain parts of the image. I have not toyed with it. Grain is the same thing. Like, why would I want to make this grainy? You can adjust the strength of the graininess, but there again, it's an image that's going to be print on demand. It's going to be someone's poster. It's going to be someone's premium print that they're going to have framed on the wall of their man cave, or they bring out when they play Dungeons and Dragons with their friends, or what have you. So I don't want to add grain and stuff to it. So I'm just going to back up and get out of there, and it's processing. So I'm going to undo the grain effect. And I did denoise this a little bit just to see if there was a difference before I started this video. There's image fusion where you can fuse images into it. There's a different way to do that in design, which I prefer, which is actually layering it. You can affect the size and mask out things, and that's a whole different ball game. Picture to painting is kind of cool. I haven't messed with it a whole lot, but it does give you, there are tons of options in here, is what I'm trying to say. And again, this is not a paid advertisement for the software. I'm just really impressed with it and I like the way that it works. So if you're looking for something, I haven't even looked. I believe there is a free platform to play around with. I must have gone in free for some type of a trial or something just to see how it looked before I used it, but I have been having a lot of fun with this. So let's get into the light and lens effects. I haven't played much with Black Mist and Bokeh, and I have not done photo animation or dispersion. I played with light rays, sparkles, and light hits. And we're going to go with light rays first. Wow, look at that. So first things first, up here, we've got single source light rays, and then we've got directional light rays. And the directional light rays, as you can see, this is coming from that direction. You can switch it around and make it come from that direction or this direction. And this is one of the things that I'm going to play with to see what it does um, in terms of directionality of what we've got going on here. Um, but first, we're going to start off up at the top. And I realized on my last video, guys, that my head was in the way of when I was adjusting colors and stuff like that. So I did adjust the box a little bit smaller, and I'll try and be a little bit more mindful about working up in this area, whether I have to close up some boxes or something like that. But we got to turn that intensity down because it is way too bright. Um, and just to see what we're going to get, I'm going to set the intensity about 10. I'm going to change the length. You can actually change the length of the light rays. Because I don't want it to have a huge effect. And I may not end up going with this at all. I'm just kind of playing around in here to look and see what's going on. Threshold is like how you see what it's doing there. So I want my threshold about there, if anything. And then you can adjust the softness too, which we've already adjusted a lot of it. So the softness, like you can see up here, you can see some of it. And I kind of like that coming through the clouds there. It kind of gives a little bit of a directionality behind the clouds. The hue of it, we can play around with to see how that affects the colors in the background. That's going to blue out some of the stuff. Obviously, the saturation too. Where's the bluing? Because what I'm trying to do is in our color section, I really got the background a lot greener than what I wanted it. So if you desaturate it, it kind of turns into a white light, which can see how it's affecting the green here and the green up here. So I'm really not crazy about the light rays. So I'm going to switch them off, get rid of them. Uh, It does make it a little bit difficult to, whoops, do any of this stuff without processing it in. So I'm going to zero everything out. Damn it. I just did it to myself. I pushed clear and it went. Um, and I'm going to go into the single source light rays because you see this little red dot here. I can move where the light rays are coming from. I can literally put them down here in the corner. I can put them up here behind the clouds so that they're coming down in a direction. And I think what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with it down here. In that area there, and then you can affect the length, which I don't want it to be, whoops, super long. See how that affects the length of the light rays? I don't want to get it. Let's go make it turn our intensity down. That's part of the problem. So turning our intensity down. Oh, I've got to turn the intensity up to show you this because I applied a mask and then I can use the expansion to narrow the focus of the light rays. So I'm going to narrow the focus. Well, actually, I'm in the wrong direction. Let's turn it around this way. So we're going to narrow the focus back this way. And we're going to put our light source back here. And I kind of want it so it's going up the river of clouds here. So I might have to move it over a little bit. I have to change the direction a little bit. So it's more going that way. And then I want to change the hue of it. So I'm not certain I'm going to go with this, but this is a way to affect the colorization in the background, what we've got going on. So I'm sorry I'm not being super talkative right at the moment. I am really into trying to see where where I'm going with the intensities of this light and the saturation of it and the hue. It's really play around. It seriously is. You want to make this your own. I'm looking to see what I can accomplish, what I can accomplish. So with the range, obviously you're getting more purple in the sky, which I really don't want. But if I turn that range up and adjust the hue, and I'm kind of looking all over, I want to see how it's affecting our guy, our doorway, how it's affecting the background, how it's affecting the clouds in the foreground. And it's a matter of finding a color that I really want in those clouds up there too, which that blue's pretty cool. Lighten it up a little bit. See what we get with saturation. Thank you guys again for hanging with me. Um, I knew going into this video that it was going to be kind of a trick to talk and pay attention at the same time, if you will. And so again, we can play with the expansion of it, change the direction of it. So I really kind of want it to do the whole photo from here. I may just move this over a little bit closer to the corner, and a little bit more in front of the rock to see what that does. Put it down in the clouds. That really gives us kind of a cool look. I'm going to zoom up here and see what we've got. We didn't wash the guy out. In fact, we got a little more focus on his chest. Background is greened out a little bit better, or the green has come out of the background a little bit better. I'm going to play with the intensity a little bit more, and then we're going to move on. I don't want to wash those swirls out. I want those to be pretty green yet too. And I may close up my expansion a little bit. Kind of like there. So I've done a lot with this in terms of just playing around and just seeing what we're getting. And this may not be the only light hit we do, but I really kind of like what that did right there. So I'm going to process that. I'm going to go into sparkles. I may play around with this a little bit more. This confused me the most with sparkles. Like this video may not be the final thing. I may come back in here and play with the lighting a little bit more, but I don't want to keep you guys on here for an hour and a half while I play with this. Um, Again, I put a lot of work into my images. So the automatic um, added sparkles, I don't ever use. So you go up here and you have to click none on there, and then manually click brush to add or remove the selected sparkle. Now, I'm kind of thinking this orange one right here for his fireball, and that did really cool. Just by doing that. But we can play with the intensity um, to bring it up or down. But that's kind of where I wanted to go with that one. Again, here you can add or remove, you know, the amount of, you can add rotation to it. See, so I made one of these lines in the ethereal right here. There's a little dot in there from the intensity of it. You can also use a random color. You can use color from the image. You can change the hue. So we can see what that will do. I got to zoom up here a little bit, guys. Again, thanks for hanging out with me. I very intent on getting the lighting right for my images. So I'm sorry if I'm not super talkative. I'm really paying attention to what I got going on here. Play with the saturation a little bit. So that's super orangey. That's kind of cool right there. There are animation effects, but why I use animation, this is not, um, you know, what I'm accomplishing here. And I'm going to look around and I'm going to see, is there anywhere else I want kind of a twinkle or a sparkle or something like that? I mean, there's all different kinds of things. I don't know how well you can see. That one's actually kind of cool. So you can get stars, you can get little snowflakes off of it, you can get little hearts around it. So they do have some really cool uh, different things that you can do. Like that one's kind of interesting. So I'm just taking a look here to see if I like something a little bit more. That one's got kind of some star action coming off of it. I kind of like that one. That one's cooler. I like that one a little bit more. So you can play around a lot in here. Like you can really get some different things. And again, I've changed that. So, ooh, see what that just did? It almost went into a green similar to the swirly stuff around. So this is how I do this kind of stuff, guys. A little at a time, monkeying around, and the more you monkey, the more you figure out that you get exactly what you want, and everything in life is good. So at this point, I'm going to have to make another lighting video, I'm sure. I'm going to save this right where we are, and I will come back to mess around with some other stuff because I didn't want to make this video that long. But thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for dealing with my intensity. Uh, I'm serious about what I do, and I hope you are as well. Um, so we will see you guys on the next one. Again, I'll have it all booted up. Put one of the videos in the series up over here somewhere here, and remember to let the chaos out. This is what creativity is all about, guys. So until next time, thanks for hanging out with me.